welcome guys, Richard from Donuts in Space. I've amassed a few models, specifically of the internal combustion engine variety. As most of you know, I'm just concentrating on model cars at the moment until such time that I can resolve these issues that I've got with my neck, and I think we might be getting somewhere, not sure yet. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be building cars. Now, I've amassed a few, so I thought I'd quickly share them all with you. We start with the Mustang. This is the next one on the list. As soon as I've done the Camaro, actually, I'm going to be doing this one. Now, a few of you might remember last year I did a cancer bladder awareness group build, and that had to be a straight out the box build. You weren't allowed to modify it in any way, shape or form, just to help people cut the expenses down really on the builds. This one I bought at the same time because they were doing they were 50% off actually, so I just decided to buy two at the same time because, you know, I mean, I think it was about £50 a pop and they went for 25 quid, so I thought, well, why not just buy two, because they were quite nice kits. This one has a lot of scope for lighting in it, and that's what I'm going to do. This one's going to be lit up as well as the Camaro, but this one has got more scope for lighting than the Camaro, so that's what I'm going to do with this one. As I say, I'm not going to go over the plans for the lighting on this in this video. It's just kind of like to make you aware of some of the stuff that I've got and the builds that I'm going to be doing over the coming few months to a year really. So yeah, I'll go over the plans for the lighting when I start this kit, but yeah, there's some quite interesting plans I got for that one. So this is the this is a 112 scale model kit, and it is quite big, so I'm kind of liking that really, so that's going to be quite good to do. Let me push that to one side. The other one that we've got, the one that's following these, and these are in order of how I'm going to build them. The next one is this one. This is a 1/16 scale Peterbilt 359. So that's quite a big kit. Now, I've had a little butcher's at this as well, and it looks as though this kit has got quite a bit of room for lighting as well. So I just need to pay a bit more attention to it. As soon as I start on the Mustang build, I will actually start thinking about this, because that's the way I kind of do it. When I'm building a kit, I've got all the plans in place for it already, so I normally then start turning my attention to the following kit, as to how I want to paint it, any kind of modifications that I'm going to do to it, what kind of lighting I want to put into it, etc. I just find it easier that way myself, because then once I get to start building it, I know exactly where I'm going and I don't have to start backtracking on anything I'm doing. It's just, I just find it easier that way to do, so I'm always kind of, you know, thinking one model ahead, sometimes two actually, you know. So yeah, this is going to be the second build that I do. This is a fairly big kit actually. It's just over 50 centimeters long, so yeah, that's a fairly huge kit. So I'm looking forward to building this one. And again, believe it or not, this was in a half price sale as well. I always seem to be able to sniff out a bargain on these. So yeah, that's the second one. The next one that we've got is the another 1/16 scale kit. So this is a 1965 Ford Mustang. It's what we Brits would class as a saloon. So it's not a Shelby version, this is just a normal version. It's just sort of like celebrating the 50 years of the Ford Mustang. With this again, I believe that there's going to be scope for lighting in this. Not really too sure yet. I mean, I've had a look at some of the parts and whatnot, but I haven't really formulated any plans for it at the moment, but I do believe that there is going to be some sort of scope for lighting in this. And this is going to be more of a traditional build, whereas kind of like the other two are going to be a little bit flashy. They're going to be sort of like slightly customized. This one, out of respect for the Stang, I'm just going to sort of like do a bit of a traditional build on that one, really, which will make a change. Put some sort of like traditional colours on it. So yeah, that's the third one. The next one, again, is another 1/16th scale model, and that is the 1992 Pontiac Firebird from MPC. I've had a look at this kit. Unfortunately, there's no scope on the front lights to light, mainly because they're all moulded in. There's no sort of like headlamp, sort of bulbs, covers, etc. That are in there. But we should be able to do a fairly decent job on this anyway, even if we can't get this one to light up. We might be able to get some of the side markers and the rear lights to light up on it, maybe, perhaps, and maybe the internal dials, but just not the headlamps. But who knows. Again, you know, way off on that one. I'll start thinking about that one once I've started on the Mustang. So that's that one. Now we're going over to a really huge kit. And again, those two models, sorry, they were in a bit of a sale. Not a half price sale, unfortunately, but you know, I think they were about 25% off, which is still good enough. The next one that I am going to be doing is absolutely huge. If we can get this up, it's quite a heavy box. There we go. So that's a 1/24 scale kit. I know, it's a big box. It's actually bigger than I thought it was going to be, actually, to be quite honest. When I saw the size of that kit, it just blew me away. This was in a half price sale kit, actually. It was originally 50 quid and I got it for 25. So, and this kit, looking at it, I mean, to be quite honest, there is so much scope for lighting on this. It is unbelievable. It's just, it beggars belief, this kit, actually. It really does. It really does beg a belief how big it is. I mean, for a 1/24 scale kit, it is 38 centimeters in length, you know, so that's really, really big. Unfortunately, you don't get any passengers with it, you don't get the driver with it, and you don't get the conductor with it either. I've been doing a little bit of research online, not too much, but if we look at railway models in G scale, that's almost similar size to, well, G scale is sort of like 1/24th, 1/25th scale in sort of model car building world. So we should, if we're lucky, be able to find some passengers. Whether we can find a driver and whether we can find a conductor in that sort of setup, don't know, but it's worth looking for. I mean, we hopefully should be able to find a driver somewhere. You know, even if we have to fiddle with the arms a bit until the arms are actually resting on the steering wheel, you know, that's not a problem. So yeah, this is another one of those big builds I'm going to do. I mean, this is absolutely huge kit, absolutely huge. And it's a kit that I've always kind of been interested in doing, actually. It's the good old AEC Route Master. So I'm happy I got that. I've been keeping an eye on these kits for quite a while, actually. I wasn't really prepared to pay the full 50 quid for it, even though it's a really good kit, and it's, from what I can see, looking at the parts through the plastic bag, they look as though they're moulded really, really well. And there doesn't appear to be any flash on them. But, you know, so it's, yeah, good quality kit, but I just wasn't prepared to pay the 50 quid for it. And luckily enough, I caught it in a flash out at 25 quid, so I thought, well, why the hell not, that's worth it. So that's the next one. So let's get this away. The other one I've had for a little while, but just not done anything with yet, and this is a tiny little 1/24 scale kit, and that is the Volkswagen T1 Samba bus. So I will be building that as well. Again, this is in 1/24 scale. This is the 21 window sort of version, as everybody likes to refer it to, and that's 18.1 centimeters in length. But before I build this one, there is another 1/24 scale kit that I will be building. I'm just waiting for that to be shipped in, and it's one of my favourite sort of iconic cars really from when I was growing up, and it's a BMW 635 CSI M. And funnily enough, it just happens to be about one of the only BMW cars that I actually like. The first time I saw one, I kind of fell in love with it. I would like to own a 635 CSI. The cheapest I've actually seen them on the market for at the moment is about 15 grand. And that's for a 1989 model. Yeah, so that's quite expensive. So yeah, I don't think I'll really be able to afford one of those any more than I would be able to afford a Tesla, which is what I would really, really love to have. So that's it. Yeah, so I'm just waiting now for the 635 CSI to come in, which is 1/24 scale, the same as the bus. And I was kind of thinking, you know, with those, could you build a diorama, or would it be too big? Could you kind of do a little bit of a street scene? I don't know. You could, but where would you put it? Because it's going to be massive. Because I mean, that bus is like nearly 40 centimeters in length at 1/24 scale. You know, if you got a bus that's just over 8, you know, you got one of these Samba buses that's just over 18 centimeters in length. You know, the car's going to be, say, about 15 centimeters in length, something like that. And then if you put another couple of little cars on there as well, that's going to be a bit of a big display. And then plus the fact, you know, you're going to need a building backdrop on that as well. Who knows? It's worth looking into, but you know, that's something I believe that's going to happen next year, because I don't think I'm going to get around to being able to build that bus until next year, really, to be fair. But we'll soon see. If we do that, then what I'm going to need to do is look for cars, because I mean, these buses, that big London bus, that was originally designed in the 1950s. I think it was unleashed on the London streets in the sort of late 50s, and they kept going in service actually, as far as I'm aware, until at least the 90s, when they finally got rid of the last few. I think you'll still find a few on the London roads as tourist buses, but not as sort of active service public transport. But I'm kind of thinking, if I can find any cars from, you know, the 70s and 80s, and maybe the 90s, that I like, that are British, that, you know, that kind of appeal to me. Or they don't have to be British, but, you know, but they certainly do have to be from the sort of like 70s, 80s and 90s, really, I think. Yeah, you never know, we might be able to sort of like get to maybe another 2 or 3 cars, and you could do a decent little diorama with them. But who knows? I just have to look at the logistics of that when it comes round to doing it, because as I say, a diorama with a bus of that size would be pretty big, and it would be an intense build. But you know, with cars of that scale and a diorama of that scale, it would look awesome. It really would look awesome. But you know, you just got to look at the logistics of it. So that's about where we are at the moment. They're the ones that I've got in. As I say, I'm still currently working on the Camaro. Hopefully the update will be out at the weekend for that. I know it's been a bit delayed, but then I've, you know, had work commitments. I just thought I'd do this little video whilst I was waiting for bits and pieces to dry on it, and I'm just sitting around sort of, you know, chomping at the bit, waiting to get on with it. But yeah, as I say, update weekend for the Camaro, and then as soon as I finish that, onto the Shelby, then onto the Peterbilt, then the Mustang, then the Firebird, then the London bus, then the BMW, then that, and then possibly maybe another couple of 1/24 scale cars to make a diorama. As I say, I'll look at that though when I get the bus sorted out. So that's about it from me. Thanks for listening to me rabbling on and showing you my little model kits. and I will talk to you all fairly soon. Until then, thanks for watching, and please do take care.